My name is Tope Olagbegi. I'm the CEO of Sixth Sense Interiors.
My name is Olagbegi. I'm an IT consultant and CEO of Delphi Technologies.
And you're watching 5 Years After.
The first 5 years for us was very interesting. It was full of I'll call them challenges, and I think to your point, I understand why people think the first 5 years can be difficult. Why? Because prior to getting married, everybody had been putting their best foot forward. And by the time you decide that after the marriage, or after the wedding, after the wedding, then people have to show themselves, and then you begin to...
Did I show myself?
So she used to cry a lot. I don't know why. My wife used to cry a lot. It was like, oh, I miss my mom, I miss my dad. I'm like, I'm now your mom. I'm like, no,
you're not.
So she used to get very emotional, and like I said, it was a very interesting part of the wedding, and I think primarily was also actually getting to know the real us, and all the flaws, all the imperfections, and all the all the nuances, of course, because all throughout when we were dating, I didn't realize my wife was borderline OCD, and here I was learning how to fold socks. I didn't even know it was possible, right? So apparently there's a way you can fold. So anyway, I was taught, so it was like a learning period. I think it was like I was going to university. It was like a 5-year course in how to be the perfect husband, and then I think a lot of assumptions that people have about marriage, maybe in your head you thought, okay, well, you get home, there'll be food waiting, you get a massage. Okay, that it did happen. It did happen. There was food, but there was no massage every night. I get food rub, you could watch news. So it didn't pan out. It was more, you get home, there was food and Telemundo. And you would do, okay, no, she didn't, was watching weird things anyway. But for me, I think it was an adventure. I like to put it that way. The first 5 years was an adventure. It was so this is who you really are, And obviously, my wife as well. I saw different dimensions to her, and it was good in my opinion. She matured. And I saw, and I think she started, because my wife was already been into business. She became a real strong businesswoman. So I saw a really strong business. I used to think I was a business savvy person in the relationship, and over that first 5 years, I just realized that I was, I wasn't really the business person in the family. So, but it was nice. It was a very good, for me anyway. I saw it was an adventure. I'm not sure how she saw it though.
Okay, first 5 years. My first 5 years, I'd say, were probably the toughest. Toughest because of the adjustments that I had to make. But the one thing that I'd say, I missed so many things I'm going to say, is that I think it was in the midst of all the challenges and struggles and miscommunication and fights and quarrels, I think it was in all of that I realized that I really did love this guy, because I doubt if I'd be taking all that crap from anyone that I didn't love. Yeah. And so we would fight over the smallest things, and it was amazingly annoying to find that he could take off his clothes anywhere. Wherever he took off his shirt is where he'd drop it.
Yeah, I don't think the viewers want to hear about that.
No,
they're not interested.
And so, for me, those were some of the adjustments, you understand, that, the person that I have married, do you understand, is probably not as neat as I am, okay? Now, I could quarrel, I'm confrontational, okay? So it was also a shock to him to realize that I would get upset at the smallest things, you understand? And so there were different parts of us that we were seeing, and the different sides to us that we needed to make adjustments to. And to be honest, many times in those 5 years, I know more he than me had asked, did I really make the right choice?
Speak for yourself. I don't understand why you're assuming more he than me. Yeah.
Did I really make the right choice? Yeah. But I think the first 5 years is the fight for survival. And if you make it past the first 5 years, I think
easier.
It really gets easier.
So what happened on my wedding day in the morning? So I'm from Ondo State, so we have this tradition of pounded yam in the morning in my state. So we had pounded yam. So just in case they don't, for some weird reason, when you get married, nobody really cares whether you eat or not. They just believe that you should be happy. You're getting married, you should want to eat. So I had pounded yam. My best friend then came to. So I mean, it was very simple for a guy. He just kind of I got up. I think my house we had prayers. Then we had pounded yam, and everybody was running up and down the place trying to do. My best friend at that time just came in. They had a car that was going to take us, supposed to take me to the airport, but I decided to just ride with him because he was driving the car. So I had this 2-door Jeep. So we just got into the car and we drove to the airport, to the church, and we got there very early, and then. So I don't know what happened on the bride side. I don't know if I noticed that when they showed up, they didn't have the wedding program. that's what I remember. So they showed up without the wedding program, But it didn't really matter to me, As far as I was concerned, it was the happiest day of my life. I was marrying my best friend, and it really didn't really matter that there was no wedding program.
You said it like twice.
Okay, it was really nice. And then luckily it was one of those where there was a wedding before ours. So we started our own wedding with their own program. So then ours came in later on, but it was very nice, and just also mention that we got married very early. So I was 26, she was 21. So all our friends were young, and they were like, everybody was in shock. So we actually just came to wedding just to see that it was true.
Are you serious? Are you for real?
Getting married. So they love, my friends were inside, don't do it. Anyway, but it was great. It was a wonderful day, and I remember at the end of that day, driving off, and I was like, yes, this is the beginning of the rest of my life, and I was really, really, really looking forward to the next level, and that's my side of the story, anyway.
The story started for me when he proposed on Shomolu Bridge, under Shomolu Bridge.
It was Palm Grove Bridge. What was on Ikorodu Road?
Okay, it was on Ikorodu Road. And the car slowed down, and, he got out, and then he came to my side, opened it, and I was like, what's going on? Did petrol finish in the car? And he goes, would you marry me? I thought it was one of the most beautiful. That moment was actually one of the most beautiful moments of my life, and I'll tell you why. He is an introspective person, takes his time to make decisions. But once he's made a decision, he's factored in everything that could go right and could go wrong. And so when he says, this is the direction I'm going, trust me, he's not doing it just because. And so it was special to me that, I'd be the one that he'd say, spend the rest of my life with. And immediately he said, let's go tell your parents. And I'm like, okay. So we drove to see my parents. So between that time and when we got married, which was about 3 months, it was like an out-of-body experience because our parents just hijacked the wedding, right? And we were like bystanders. Nobody asked us what we wanted. If we wanted, they just say, oh, they've sorted this one out. They've done this one. And my mother and his mother they were working together, excluding us. So on the wedding day for me, I didn't have very much to do, so it's not one of those times when today's brides kind of have everything, I didn't have very much to do. I woke up that morning with all my friends around me. About 20 of them had slept in my house. And my parents said prayers. My dad said his prayers. My mom said her prayers. Then the family said their prayers. Then my friends said their prayers. Then I got dressed. And I just said to myself, this is it. Yeah. I remember we forgot the program. I really remember we forgot the program. And I like to say I have a little bit of OCD, so I wasn't really happy. I was flustered about the program and all. But then, the look in his eyes was like, okay, if you don't have a program, we don't have a program. Yeah. Do you understand? And he just kept reminding me, if people don't have food to eat, if blah, 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 we are getting married. And I had to keep remembering that, we are getting married, But then, I'll tell you what happened after all the ceremony. After all the ceremony, we got to the hotel room, and I went to hide in the toilet for a long time. I hid in that toilet, and, something had changed, I just felt as if I had carried a title. I couldn't, he used to be my best friend, he used to be my everything. But then just knowing that I was carrying his last name now, I felt it was like an office I was occupying. So I got out of that bathroom and I didn't know whether to say, good evening, sir. It was really funny, but it was the first awkward, I mean, he jokes a lot. So it was an awkward first 5 minutes when I came out of that bathroom because I was just staring at him like, okay, so how do we relate from here? But then, his funny self.
I just wanted food. I don't understand where she was going. So that good evening, sir. What's for dinner?
Yeah. So that's how the day went, Everything we dreamed of. Yeah.
Yeah, and this was before the pre-wedding drama.
And all of that, Yeah. So we're kind of grateful we escaped that.
Exactly, all the circus/wedding that we have nowadays.
So how did the love story start? My version is very different.
Exactly, we have two versions. Mine is the correct one.
His. My version is the true one. He claims that the first time that we saw each other, that I winked at him. Not true. Yeah.
I smiled and you, well, no, you smiled. I smiled and you winked back. Oh no, I winked and you smiled back.
Okay. So, so clearly you can see it's flawed already, all right? I'm a good girl. I saw him and I was like, why are you staring? That's exactly what happened.
You look familiar.
Yeah.
I thought you looked familiar. Yeah. I've seen you somewhere before.
So that's how the love story started. It was in Unilag. I remember, I think I was going into my faculty and he was milling around.
Okay, that's interesting. That's not how I remembered it. So I was taking an elective in your department. So okay. I was going in and you were walking out.
Okay.
And I think, you were running out of class. So I was going in and then we made eye contact and then,
I forgot all about him after that.
Then, okay, let me say this from a man's perspective.
Okay.
Since this part of it was more I was the one doing the chasing at that point. Then later on, she gets to chase me, but at this point, I'm the one doing the chasing. Anyway, so I saw her, and then, and I really liked, she had really good courage, and I liked the way she carried herself. And I was like, oh, I'd like to meet this person, And, obviously, as a gentleman, you can't just go up to a lady and just say, yeah, hi, And some guys do it, but, back in my days where a bit more cultured, so you would probably need to be introduced. So luckily I had we both had a mutual friend, so I saw her with that friend, and then I convinced the friend to take me to see her. So it took me a while though, 'cause I had to disturb the girl. I'm like, let's go see your friend, and let's go say hello, because she stayed in quarters, she wasn't staying in the hall back in university. So, but her friend eventually took me to her place and to her quarters, and we got there, and she just blanks me. There was no hello, no hi, no. I wish she said hi, hello. She was very civil, but that was the end. And she was really just focused on her friend, and I was there trying to make eye contact, So she spent about 2 hours of being ignored, but it wasn't so bad. I was, I was just watching you. I was watching you, pretend you didn't see me, but
I honestly didn't see you.
Yeah, how was it?
You were there, but you were not there.
Your room, how big was that room? I was sitting on the table. I was sitting on the chair. Anyway, So that was how it started. And then before I left, I was, I just summed up all the courage I had. I was like, oh, let's like to go out for dinner or date or drink. And then eventually, and she posed a bit. I said yes. With all your young guys, she said yes, But you said yes that she go out and date with me, and then went out to a restaurant. And we had a very nice first date. It was one of those special first dates that everything kind of just sort of, just fall into place. It was great dinner. I can't remember. I can't remember the place. It was in.
It was Flamingos.
Was it, yeah, I went to Atlantic Hall first, then Flamingos.
No, not Atlantic Hall.
Oh, sorry. So we had dinner, then went to Flamingos. They don't operate anymore, but it was a really nice place. They had this jukebox. I remember that jukebox.
Yeah.
Because
the day he'd come, he'd said something about my favorite songs, and I told him. And so on that date, I just noticed, truth be told, I wasn't really going out back then, And so I was a little surprised that it was song after song of my favorite songs that were playing. And I kept saying, how come they're playing all my favorite songs? And I'm sure he was looking at me like, gosh, this girl doesn't even get it.
Yes. So, that's when I was laying all the charms. And this was then, and then we started dating, and, it's been on since then, I guess.
Yeah, 3 kids after.
3 kids, and so we got married like 5 years after that. So,
are you going first?
Question time. You go first.
I should go first. Okay. When did you know you wanted to marry me?
I think the first time I saw you, the thought crossed my mind.
Seriously?
Yes, it did. But I wasn't fully convicted until, I think it was probably that was the first time I went to church, or something that we did. It was time we went through a challenge together, I remember, and then we prayed together. You didn't remember? And you were crying, you were emotional about something, and then we prayed together, and we just basically talked, and I was like, yes, this is, I think I was that night, yeah. And I think that's probably, I remember, 1 year, 1.5 years into our relationship.
Why didn't you tell me?
Why not? If there was one thing I could do for you right now, what would it be?
There's one thing you could do for me right now. What would it be?
Bling bling. Shoot your shot.
There's one thing you could do for me right now.
Mm-hmm.
I would want you to come on this trip with me.
When are we going next week?
Yeah. I've been begging you.
Oh, right. Okay.
That's one thing.
Right now?
Yeah.
Ah, okay. So it's our anniversary next week, so she wants me to go on a trip with her. It's okay. All right.
What would make you leave me?
Nothing.
Are you serious?
No, nothing.
As in, what would make you leave me?
Nothing. Maybe death.
Oh.
All right.
Thank you.
When you think of the first time you saw me, what do you remember?
I saw this cute, really cute guy. Yeah. And then when we started talking, I saw this very well-mannered guy.
Nice. Thank you.
Mention 3 best and not so great qualities about me that you wouldn't change.
Okay, so 3 best, and is it 3 best and 3 not so great?
Yes, 3 best.
Okay, 3 bests I think about you for me is love. You basically taught me how to love. You're the most loving person I know. That's 1. 2, obviously I love the way you are in relationships. You're very good relationships with people. 3 would be the way, the way I think your spirituality as a person. I think those are my 3 best qualities about you. Not in that order, but my 3 best. But things that are your not 3 best qualities would be your OCD. Okay. Well, I'm getting used to it now. I'm learning to fold socks, put things in the right places. So I'm learning that gradually. Not so good. 3 is your ability to cry at everything, and the waterworks at when you're happy, when you're sad, when you're annoyed, when you're angry.
I know.
And the third one I would say is your shouting, which you had. So
okay.
Your anger and your shouting.
Okay.
When you get upset and we've discussed that in the past, but yeah.
I'll work on it.
She doesn't shout at me, by the way, but she shouts at everybody else. The kids, house help, driver, everybody else, apart from me. So I feel special. So I'm used to that. What would you like us to do that we have never done?
We have never done. What would I like us to do that we've never done?
This is PG, right? There could be kids watching. No, I'm just joking.
Oh,
it doesn't have to be.
Okay, yeah. What have we never done?
Done about pretty much everything.
Honestly, I'm trying to think of what I'd like. Most of the things that I'd like us to do, I think we've done them. Maybe see around the world.
Yeah,
together.
Go around the world together. Yeah, around the world. Like a boat cruise, right? Yeah, all right, it's a deal.
Okay.
Boom.
What can I do to improve our relationship?
Stop talking. Learn to cook exotic meals.
Okay.
Learn to massage. Give massages. Yeah. You improved the massage. Yes, you are. It's a tough question because sometimes I find that things I hate about you I actually like. So it's a two-edged question, really. But I think there's one thing. Maybe watching more football.
Okay, I'd try. I really try. I'd really try.
Yeah, okay. What do you think our biggest challenge in our marriage has been our biggest challenge in our marriage so far?
Our biggest challenge in our marriage
so
far has been understanding each other's love language. Yeah. That's what I'd say. It took us a while to understand. So we've always loved each other, but we've always expressed the love in the way we understand to express love. But we learned, I think about maybe 10 years ago, just how to love the way we want to be loved. Do you understand? Yeah. Am I the best sex you've ever had?
Yes, without a doubt. Don't think about it. How come we left the sex question last?
Am I really the best sex you've ever had?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Who initiates sex? How come we left sex question last?
I don't know. We're more alike than we think.
Yes.
Who initiates sex more?
So it's like a question, right? Yeah.
Help me.
No, I'm the one asking the question.
Who initiates sex more?
But bear in mind that sometimes I'm not so obvious. I just put the music in. But the question is for you to answer.
Maybe I do.
Why you think you do?
I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe I do.
Maybe you do.
What do you think?
Yeah, I'd say maybe it's a tie.
Okay.
Tie?
Tie.
Yeah, tie.
It's our anniversary next week, and it's been 18 years of loving you as your wife. I think one of the most wonderful things with love and finding love, and especially finding you, is when you have something in your hands that when you look back at it, you've seen it grow, you've seen it nurtured, you've seen it blossom. With you loving me and me loving you, I have seen myself grow, be nurtured. I've seen myself blossom in many more ways than I ever thought was possible 18 years back. I want to say thank you for being a great friend, for being a deep spiritual partner. I want to say thank you for all the love that you show towards the children. I want to say thank you for being my biggest encourager, the first person to like any of my Instagram posts. You are a terrific man, and I know that my life has been so blessed with you being my husband. God bless you, Dipo.
Tope, I just want to say that it's been a wonderful 18 years. We've had our ups and downs, but I don't ever for a second regret getting married to you. You have brought so much life, so much beauty, so much color into my life, and I will always be eternally grateful to God for bringing you into my life. I thank you for everything that you do, in front and behind the scene, and for the wonderful kids that you've given us. I just want to tell you that, as much as you and the children mean so much more to me than you ever know, and I look forward to spend the rest of my life with you. I love you, babies, and happy anniversary to us.